Well, we have a very special episode coming your way. We have the absolute honor of chatting with a very special guest. You may know her from the That Sounds Fun podcast, or you may have seen her on the New York Times bestseller list, or you may have heard her maybe speak about Jesus at church or a conference before, or you may recognize her as the star receptionist in Great American Family's recent Christmas movie, A Little Women's Christmas. Here she is, the queen of fun herself, Annie F. Downs. Annie, thank you for being here.
Well, Josh, I just can't tell you how blessed I am by my new byline that you just gave me. The receptionist at Orchard
Grove?
Publishing,
Orchard
Orchard
Grove?
House,
Orchard
Orchard
House,
House
yes.
Publishing.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
Can I go ahead and tell you the first story?
please.
Please get
The
into it.
first time I'm sitting there, the director tells me to go, Brandon Clark tells me to go. Brian Bird is sitting there, who is in the room because he created When Calls the Heart. He's like a legend.
He's the
Both
guy.
both of them are like top of their game. And I say Orchard House Publishing the first time I say my line, and I stumble over the word publishing. And the room is full, and these pros are looking at me. And Brian Bird just says, "You can drop the word publishing." And I was like, I am mortified forever. I'm mortified forever. So when you watch the movie, I say, "Welcome to Orchard House," because Brian Bird wouldn't let me say the word publishing because I couldn't say it correctly. Are y'all dying for me? Isn't that the worst?
It's
Oh
a
my God.
mouthful. No shame
Oh,
here. I trip over my words
gosh.
all the time, but
It
you
was
still
so
nailed it. They
brutal.
didn't cut you. You are in the
You
first
didn't cut
scene
me.
of this movie. I mean, I sat down. I knew you were in it. I was like, oh, let me get my jammies on and watch the movie. And right out of the gate, could have turned
I'm
it off
with it.
after that.
Literally,
You
it's
peaked.
DJ Bob and Joe March and me. And then as the credits are rolling, my moment has come and gone.
Suzanne, we'll see you now.
Who is DJ Bob? Was DJ Bob a
Brandon
real
Clark.
person?
He's the
Oh, it was
director of the
him.
movie.
I didn't know
Yes.
what he
Oh,
looked
that's right.
like. Okay. I knew it
Yeah.
had to be somebody because it was such a specific
Yes.
reoccurring person. I was like, this has
Yes.
to be a wink. I just didn't know who it was. Okay. I'd never seen
Yes.
him before.
Yeah. He's
Oh,
multi-talented. He
baby.
can do it all.
Clearly. I mean, and so can you. So, we have mutual friends and our paths have crossed in Nashville, but we're so
Yes.
glad we get to sit down and talk with you about all things Christmas movies. So, as Josh said, we were talking about, Great American Family premiered A Little Women's Christmas, and it's a whole slew of fan favorite actors. In addition to Miss Annie here, we've got Trevor Donovan, Jesse Hutch, Laura Osnes, Jillian Murray, Jen Lilly, just to name a few. Oh, and by the way, Gladys Knight shows up and sings
Gladys
in the
Knight.
church at the end.
I
Did you get
died.
to meet Gladys? You weren't there the same day as Gladys, were
I
you?
No,
died.
I wasn't
Ah,
there.
you must
She
have
was
been working the front
amazing.
desk.
Yeah. They don't let us out of the publishing house.
No.
She's amazing. And how do you get Gladys Knight in your movie? That is just unbelievable. That's unbelievable.
And
Such
then to
an
sing that
amazing
kind of a
scene.
song too.
Loved
It was
that.
so great.
They wrote it for the
Yeah.
movie.
Oh, they did.
Yes.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
Awesome.
Yeah, it was so good. So,
It's
guys,
so
if you haven't
good.
seen the movie yet, we won't do a full rundown because we want to talk to Annie about all Annie things too. But the gist is, well, the synopsis is a contemporary retelling of Louisa May Alcott's 1868 classic, following author Jo March as she returns home to celebrate Christmas with their sisters Meg, Beth, and Amy. Annie, were you a Little Women's fan growing up? Like,
Oh my
was this
gosh, weren't
book
we
part of your
all? I
life?
mean, yes, the book, the original like 1995 version of the movie. I mean, like
Yes.
I loved the story. And I love the new Little Women movie that came out a couple of years ago too. So this was really a fun, I mean, I don't want to be an actress. I'm not a good actress. I love being an Easter egg. I live for being an Easter egg. And so that's approximately as much movie as I want to be in, as much as I'm in A Little Women's Christmas. But it was a huge honor to get to be in such a good movie that has such a good, sweet storyline. And so I was very honored to be a part of it.
So how did
Well,
this opportunity even get on your radar? Does someone just call someone who's like, hey, I know someone who would be an awesome Is that how it went?
Yes, yes. Another friend of mine is one of the producers. And she called me and said, hey, would you want to do this one line? And I was like, that sounds fun. Why
Yeah.
not? Yeah. Like,
that sounds fun.
I was like, don't get me in a movie. Like, don't make me be important. But for one line, I think that sounds super fun. And I'm a big fan of what I love these Christmas movies, but I'm a big fan of what GAF is building too. And so being a part of that network, I think is really fun and really special. And I thought this movie was really well done. And so it was an easy yes when my friend Jax called me.
Well, that brings up a great topic. Great American Family is kind of the new kid on the block when it comes
Yeah.
to holiday movies, and they are really trying to dig into some quality storytelling, really centered around family. So, what is it about these movies that really appeals to you, and why did this feel like a good partnership for you? Because this isn't the only thing you're doing with Great
Yeah,
American
that's
Family
right.
movies.
That's right. Part of it is Candace Cameron Bure is one of the people at the helm of the network. And I really trust her. I think when other people are playing checkers, she's playing chess.
Mhm.
She's pretty brilliant as a businesswoman and is pretty strong in her faith as well. She's just overall as impressive as you hope DJ Tanner would be as an adult. And so a lot of things that she's involved with, would be an easy yes to me. And so that's part of it is I really respect the leadership, and that's her. That includes Bill that owns the network, runs the network of GAF. I think the more opportunities people have to make movies, the more art, the better. But the more movies we get to see made that have families that struggle with some of the faith things we struggle with. I mean, I want to see families working through some of the things I see the families around me working through. And Hollywood isn't showing us a lot of that in a lot of ways, but some other places like JF are starting to show us that. I'm thinking of Dallas Jenkins as well with 5-2 Productions and The Chosen. They're showing us things that we want to see, and that you don't have to worry about bumping into things you don't want to see. And so that's fun for me. I like art that has a redemptive gospel message. Now, that doesn't mean it has to be a Christian movie. There's a lot. I mean, Dead Poets Society has some really redemptive gospel messages in it, and it's not a Christian movie at all. But I do like when we have the opportunity to profile parts of our faith as little nuggets in these movies. And so those are a couple of the reasons that I think GF is a fun thing. And I also like watching stuff build. Y'all know me. I'm a pioneer in my heart. I'm an entrepreneur. So new things, building and having wins is really exciting for me to watch.
That's so cool.
So cool. So I did listen to your podcast episode that dropped, I think, yesterday on That
Yes.
Sounds Fun, where you and your friends talked about, I think, 9 of the new Great American Family movies. Now, Josh and I have already talked about Christmas wreaths and ribbons, and you had a lot of the same thoughts we did.
Okay.
Now, the leading male on that one, Casey Elliott, we stand Casey Elliott.
Okay.
This was not his best performance. This wasn't his best movie. But
I thought he was great.
Yeah, but he's been in Destined at Christmas, and if you haven't seen that, there's 1 and 2. You have to watch those.
Oh yeah, she's writing it down. Yes, and we are
so
seriously,
good.
Annie. We're hoping for a Destin 3 because there are some plot points we want to bow on. We want a big Christmas bow.
I think
on
we're
these
getting
plot
it.
points.
Rumor has it, you would probably know more than we would, but rumor has it we're getting it next year. So we're very excited about that. But guys, if you want to listen to more Great American Family movie content, go listen to Annie's podcast because they rated each movie. It was so funny. Trees and cheese. Each movie got 1 out of 5 trees for if you liked it or not, 5 being the best. And then the cheese was the cheese factor. By the end of the podcast, I had high cholesterol because of the amount of cheese. There's a lot of cheese going on.
A lot of
so much cheese.
Here's what people love cheese. It's fine.
Yeah.
There is high cheese does not a bad movie make. High cheese is just high cheese.
Put it on a charcuterie board.
Yeah,
just put it on a whole board and we'll nibble at it all season long.
That's exactly right. I mean, you heard my friend Jen and I could not have had different cheese scores and tree scores for one of the movies, the Christmas ball one. I mean, I am not a royal trope person. She is a full royal trope person. And so we had totally differing scores, but people love the movies anyway. You know, everybody's going to love something. So it was very fun to do. We've done these movie review shows since 2017. And so it's just fun to like sit and watch some of them and have some thoughts you're going to love this, you guys. Someone who works with the movie works with JF and works particularly with A Little Women's Christmas, like reposted it and said, the judges say it's a don't miss movie. I was like, it's me and my friends, but okay.
We'll take it.
Feel like you're giving me a little credit I earned, but thank you. I'll be a judge.
Full promotion, the judge's chair. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Yeah, and then we also talked about Candace Cameron Bure's, what was it, A Christmas Road Less Traveled, Josh?
Christmas
Is that
Less
what it was
Traveled,
called?
yes.
The truck. No, I think we were a little higher on it than you were on that
Yeah,
one,
well,
but it,
well, we had two Candace ones, and I'm just more
yes,
into the other Candace one than I was Christmas.
yeah.
Christmas Less Traveled had a little bit of stranger danger for me.
Right? He
It
left.
did. It was a little stalkery, or like, is he talking to his bookie? There was some uneasiness, which we don't usually love in our
They're
Christmas
gonna sleep
movies.
in the same room the day they met each other?
No, absolutely not.
Absolutely not. Absolute. Like,
Mm-mm.
I'm not rolling over and smiling at the guy on the couch across the room from me on the day we met because he needed a ride to Maine.
What?
So
Yeah.
overall, I thought the movie, I thought the twists and turns of that one were very interesting though.
Hmm. The
So
red balloon had my cry count soaring. So what we
right.
do, yeah, is I am the more, well, let's just call it what it is. I'm the bigger crier, right?
Sure.
Yeah. And so some of these just get the cry count going. And the red balloon in that one just got the waterworks going.
I'm
Yeah.
sure. It's
Hmm.
very sweet.
Yeah, we
I would
usually have
love to.
Josh's cry count. And we have my count if I fall asleep or not. I think I have narcolepsy. Maybe sometimes
Oh
I doze
boy.
off a little bit. Just,
Mm.
just kind of do some smelling salts with some movies
Fantastic.
sometimes. And
Fantastic.
yeah,
I would love to know, Annie, from where you sit, right? Christmas movies have been around a really long time, but it just seems like in the past 3, 4, 5 years, they are really ramping up in popularity, right? We're seeing these
Yeah.
networks doing fan events and really trying to engage with people and doing new and more and better storytelling around this. Why do you think that is? What do you think it is about what's happening culturally where we're just seeing more of this kind of content at the holiday season?
I think it's a couple of things. I think there's some positive and some negatives of why it's happening. I think some of the positives are like we need entertainment that releases us from the life we're living and the world we're in. And we get to escape for 2 hours into a story that we can kind of guess where it's going to go, but we won't let ourselves because it'd be more fun just to be in it. I think there's some real beauty and some release in these movies that you're right. I mean, the writing, the production, the directing, the making of the movies is getting better and better every year because it's continuing to be a more respected genre of movies
hmm
and of art and film. So I think that's really interesting. And I think that's part of the reason why. I think there's also a real lean in on fantasy right now where people want to imagine lives they don't have.
Hmm.
And I think that can be good and I think it can be dangerous. And we just need to pay attention to ourselves. I mean, you see it on the New York Times bestselling list right now of the books that are dominating the fiction list are all fantasy, not your old school, World War II fiction or historical
right.
fiction. It is all fantasy, and so it's all escapism. And so we have to balance for ourselves relief and escapism. But that is what these movies are offering. And you just want to make sure you're landing on the relief side, not the escape side.
That's really well said. I hadn't thought about it that way, but you're right. Too much of a good thing can be a bad thing.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah,
right.
interesting. So you recently went to the Great American Family Christmas Festival.
Yes.
Tell us all about that event. How
You
was it?
guys.
Yeah, and I know there's another one coming up too.
It's so they're doing them every weekend right
I
now.
love
I
that.
think I don't know when this comes out, but does this come out this week?
Probably next week, I think.
Right. So they have a couple of weekends in a row up in New York. It was so fun. So I was there with the cast and the directors, the producers, the like leaders of A Little Women's Christmas. So every weekend they're featuring one or two GAF movies and the actors are there from the movie. So of course people are like losing their minds getting to meet Laura Osnes and Jesse Hutch and I mean all of Jillian. I mean people are just so happy to get to meet them. But it's a really cool thing. It's at the Islanders Arena. It's a hockey team, an NHL team.
Mhm.
And so it's outside of their arena. It was so cold, so cold. I was cold in my spirit. I mean, it was like all the way to the center of me levels of cold because we were
Oh
outside,
no.
but they like streamed the movie and they did Q&A I was the host. And so I did a Q&A with the cast and the director, producers, the writer of the film was there, which was really cool. That we did a lighting of a Christmas tree. Santa was there. There was hot chocolate. There was ice skating. I mean, there were puppies, you guys. There was like a puppy adoption truck, like a food truck, and you got to hold the puppies, and then they got adopted all weekend. I mean, it's a really cool thing. A couple of networks are doing it. A couple of different people are kind of leaning into this idea of like when you watch the movies, you feel connected to these actors. You feel connected to their career. As y'all are saying, the guy from Ribbons and Wreaths you like in other movies. And so all those people being together somewhere that you can go as well is really deepening people's experience with the movies. And so it was real. I mean, it was super fun. It was a joy to get to be there. And I love getting to be with those people from the movie. I just thought it was, well, y'all know me. I kind of have fun wherever I go, but I had a lot of fun.
That's so cool.
That's so awesome. Okay, now we have to ask you a very important question. If you had to pick your top 1 or 2 made for TV Christmas movies of all time, what would they be?
Okay.
Any network, any
Anybody from
just
anywhere.
not like a major motion picture. I mean, we're not talking like,
Yes,
Oscar-worthy performances. Let's take those out of it.
Yes.
but-
So let me tell you the one that stole my heart, that really got me into this genre, is A Very Merry Mix-Up with Alicia Witt.
Yes.
Yes.
A Very Merry Mix-Up is such a special, silly story of her getting in the car with the wrong family at the airport. They get a concussion. They have to stay up all night baking cookies. I mean, it just couldn't get any more like tropey. And I was like, I don't know what this is, but I love it. And so Very Merry Mix-Up
bonkers.
was
Yeah.
bananas. Yeah, it's just the cutest. There's like a clock story. Like, yeah, it's really cute. So Very Merry Mix-Up is top for me as far as what got me into this. I mean, currently, the one I want to sit and watch again is A Little Women's Christmas. I just think it is put together really beautifully. I like the cast. I'm very biased to that movie, but I also think it is very good. And so I would say Very Merry Mix-Up, A Little Women's Christmas. And then Candace has one, A Shoe Addict's Christmas, which is not the title you want for how deep and meaningful the movie actually is. And I think it is my favorite of Candace's, is A Shoe Addict Christmas.
Huh.
And
really? Yeah,
I
that's
know
a deep cut. Yeah.
I'm sorry for the title, but it's a great book. I didn't pick it, but I wish them all well. But that to me, those are like, that's my Mount Rushmore of Christmas movies.
I love that.
Those are some good ones. Yeah, and we talked about Very Merry Mix-Up. I made Josh watch that this summer, and you loved it, right? I mean,
I absolutely loved it. It's was
just adorable. Yeah,
it was adorable.
It's adorable.
Yeah. You throw caution to the wind. You throw, rationale to the wind, and it lands you in a very sweet place.
Their ability. We just have to talk about it for a second. Their ability to make you see this very cozy, warm house that is the wrong family, and it's small, and all the rooms are small, and it just feels like the house is everywhere on you. And then when she gets with the correct family of her actual fiance, the house is lines and big rooms and a wide kitchen and barely any decor. I just thought they did such a nice job in that movie of letting you feel so many things being the differences between the two families were so palpable in that movie to me.
So palpable.
Yeah, that juxtaposition was really well done.
Yeah. Totally. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that one. Those are my 3 that I'm gonna hit over Christmas week.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that. So you said you're not a fan of royal tropes.
Yeah.
Any other tropes that kind of get on your nerves a little bit?
No, that's the one, because that's just the least believable. You're just like, you're not going to meet a king on a cruise. He didn't have to take a boat instead of a plane or whatever it is, right? Like, it just isn't.
Yeah.
So that one doesn't really get me. I don't ever tend to watch those. I really love the one. I mean, y'all won't be surprised about this. I love the women business owner ones. If she's got, if she's got a company that's crashing, or if she's got, if she's,
we love that.
Her little bookstore is never going to make it through the winter. I love all those. I really love the Santa ones too. The ones where Santa is involved somehow. I think it might be Let It Snow that's on GAF now. That's Candace and Jesse Hutch. Isn't that the one where he ends up being the son of Santa?
No,
that's the one where
the ski lodge. The ski
lodge
with
lodge. You're right.
The guy from the dad from Growing Pains.
Oh, you're exactly right. Alan Thicke. There's a Santa one that Jesse does, I think, where he is the boat on the end is that he is Santa's son. I like that one. I like that trope. I like anything Brendan Penny is in. I think Brendan Penny is a fantastic
he is underrated too. He is so underrated. Yeah.
underappreciated. And I mean, y'all know one of my dearest friends is Jenna Claire Mason, who is now on her third year of having a Hallmark Christmas movie.
Can I just say, A Carol for Two this year?
You loved it.
I died. It was so good. It was just such a
We're
it was like a
obsessed.
warm
So good.
hug of a Christmas movie. It
Yeah,
just
I
felt like you were right
know.
there with them in New York
Yes.
City,
And
having those
Heidelberg
dreams.
Christmas last
Oh
year.
yeah.
Heidelberg's
Oh, I just
great. Yeah.
loved that one too. I just loved it.
Yeah.
Although the thing that annoyed us with that one
The
is that
UPS.
well, not only that, but she spent so
That.
much time trying to get to Heidelberg and then spent 2 seconds in her booth. The rest of the time she was tootling around, having snacks and going on dates. Like
she wasn't in that
very
booth.
right.
It was
She
her
did not
moment.
sit in- It was her. Yeah, she lost the plot of her own life for a minute.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right.
Keep
You're
your
right.
eye on
That's
the
okay,
ball.
but she got there. That's important.
I
No,
am sure
Jennifer
our
Mason
year-
is 3 for 3 as far as we're
I
concerned
agree.
with her
I
movies
agree.
because
I
Holiday
agree.
Spectaculars. I mean, just more of her, please. And we said this even if you
know.
weren't sitting here. She's so good. Please, more of
so
her.
good.
And
I
she has a
know.
little Christmas EP out. I mean, just we're not
It's
worthy. Come on.
beautiful. Nikki
So,
DeLoach is my other don't miss. I love Nikki's like mysteries. I just think, yeah, I love her. I know your audience probably knows this, but will y'all tell me your favorite movie ever of this genre?
Jennifer?
So my favorite is probably one of the first that I saw. It's called Snow Bride, and it's
Oh,
like from 10 years
classic.
ago. You know Snow Bride?
Classic.
Yes.
Who doesn't
Again,
love
it's
a Snow Bride?
bonkers. It is bonkers, but Katrina Law, I mean, the whole cast, we got Jill from Home Improvement.
Yes.
So good. I love a fake dating trope.
Yeah.
That one wasn't royal as much as I guess like they're kind of like the Kennedys. So that's about as regal as I get. But I watch it every year. My husband will even watch it with me. Love it. What about you, Josh?
Okay.
It's hard for me to pick a favorite at this point. I think my go-to that I would go back to, okay, I'm gonna say it, Sealed with a List last year. I don't know if you saw it, Annie. I just thought it was the most darling.
Yes.
It was a sleeper.
It was a sleeper hit.
It was a sleeper.
Yeah.
It was late in the season.
Late
so
in the
what we started
season.
doing is we put all the movies from all the networks on, like last year we did a bingo draw, but this year it was like a spinny wheel. And that's how we decide which movies we cover because there's just too many. We can't cover them all.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Yeah. And so it's led to some really good opportunities because sometimes we'll draft some that we may not have watched otherwise, but we watch it for the podcast and we end up loving it. And Sealed with the List was one of those. It wasn't promoted enough, like totally underrated. So cute. She's trying to do her resolutions right before the end of the year. So it was almost a New Year's movie too.
Yes.
Super cute. Yeah.
Right.
And funny.
So
that's
that
a
was
good one,
so
Josh.
cool. Yeah. Well,
I didn't
Annie,
know that was your favorite.
you are just such a delight. And thank you for being so gracious with your time and spending a little bit of fun moments chatting about all things Christmas movies. If folks want to connect with you online, where can they find you?
Oh, Josh, you know this. I'm like embarrassingly easy to find. It's just Annie F, as in fancy festival, whatever you'd like to say. Annie F Downs, everywhere you need me. AnnieFDowns.com. We also are Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all TikTok, all the places you want to find me. Annie F Downs.
And tell folks about the That Sounds Fun podcast network. You guys just have a whole lot of cool stuff happening over there.
It's really fun. You know, I've been a podcaster for 10 years and I got to be on a couple of networks, which means someone else is helping you get advertising and helping you to really sustain doing the craft you want to do. And a few years ago, my manager, Kelly Haywood, and I were like, could we build this? Like, y'all aren't surprised, but it was just like, okay, the thing that's missing is we want really clear and visible finances for the podcasters. We want people to know. We want good community. We want podcasters to feel like they know each other, and we want to educate. And so we thought, let's just build it. And so we've spent since May of 2020 building the That Sounds Fun network. We have we like to say we're an amusement park where when you're going to Dollywood, you kind of know what you're going to get. All the rides, cinnamon bread. That's the first thing you're going to get. All the rides might not be the same, but they all are kind of themed. And so at That Sounds Fun network, all the shows are not the same. We have a lot of different hosts, a lot of different content, but you can know the backbone is it's people of faith that have really high integrity. So they may be you may not agree with them, but you're going to spend eternity with them. So you better get around it. So, but and it's really fun. We work with up to about 30 shows right now. And it is just, I think we're in the 20, I don't want to lie to you, high 20s, low 30s, somewhere in that range. Just helping them have community and education and advertising partnerships so that they can keep doing what they want to do and be the best at it. So it is really fun. It is really fun. And the team over there is just extraordinary, the team who runs the network.
Well, keep doing what you're doing because the shows that the network puts out are just, as you mentioned, high quality, really great content, really thoughtful content too, that I think really contributes to important conversations. So, and by the way, if you're not following us, our podcast on social media, what are you waiting for? Please connect with us online at our website, doyouwatchwhatIwatch.com. We're also embarrassingly easy to find on social media as well, as the lights in my office just turned off because I've been for so long. But I like this lighting
look
better.
How pretty your tree is. Yeah,
so
your tree is majestic.
Of you, Josh.
I thought you really upped your production game. I was like, oh, it's like closing time on the podcast episode, and you're just gonna dim the lights. That's impressive. If you want to see that, go to our YouTube channel. Yeah, you can subscribe there. And until next time, may your days be merry and bright. Thanks, guys.
Friends.